did not turn me on one bit. She sound like a cultist, basically just crying, going, oh my God, look at me. Well, let me tell you something, lady. There's a lot of black women out there that have lost sons, fathers, all kind of individuals due to hate and racism. Okay? So let me say this. I do not condone in any shape, form, or fashion the death of your husband in the manner that he died. Nobody, regardless if he couldn't stand black folks, and Charlie Kirk could not stand black folks. He did not deserve to be assassinated by anybody. He did not deserve to be killed by anybody. He deserved to have his opinion, live his life in the manner that he lived without anybody doing anything to him. Unfortunately, that's not what happened.
Maybe a slight water ballooning or egg throwing.
Yeah, I mean, if somebody decided, hold on, wait. If you running your mouth like he would run your mouth, and somebody run up on you and decide to throw them hands, hopefully you can throw them hands back. You know, that's all I'm saying. But nobody deserved to get killed. Nobody, period, point blank. Not because if you're gonna argue this Charlie Kirk mess, then we got to go back and talk about, okay, Malcolm, Martin, and the tens of thousands black and brown men that were lynched, that were killed, that were burned to death just because they wanted to be free, just because they wanted equal rights, just because they wanted their farmland to get the same amount of money that the folks at the Caucasian farmland. We got a lot to talk about. Okay. I understand there are crazy folks on the left and on the right. They came up now with, what is it, the Turtle Gang, because they arrested a guy in New Iberia, right here in Louisiana, that was connected with the plot to blow up some buildings in Los Angeles with a far left. Now, if you listen closely, they said they have a task force with the FBI that is sanctioned by the president to get these far left extremists and bring them to justice. But what's going on with the far right extremists? See, I would have preferred if they said we have a task force to deal with extremists that are trying to harm Americans and cause domestic terrorism. But instead, they try to make you feel like ain't shit going on the right and everything bad is going on at the left. Go ahead, Sean.
Well, Joe, that's the same thing. Like, they always had this hyper vigilance on the Black Panther Party and every other black liberation movement, violent or non-violent movement, but they left the KKK alone just fine.
Hold on.
Do whatever they want, just fine.
Hold on.
They're not getting surveilled and the phone tap and the.
Hold on. You know, and if they do, they don't make it public. Not saying they don't do it, but hey, if they do, they don't make it public. Hold it. You saw what they did to Fred Hampton. Hold it. Do we need to go back? So hold on. While folk are here, and don't get me wrong, somebody gonna be in my inbox. Somebody gonna be all in my tail talking about, man, you got the dirt to talk about Charlie Kirk and his wife like that. Guess what? Just like Charlie Kirk didn't give two piss about me, I don't give two piss about Charlie Kirk or his wife. But neither one deserve any type of violence coming their way from anyone. They can have their opinion. They can worship how they want to. They can live how they want to. They can do what they want to. Just leave me out of being one of the individuals that will support them. But I wish no violence on them. I will be the first one to say, don't touch them folks. Leave them folks alone. But let me tell you this. Had a black woman lost her husband in the same manner and came on TV and did the same thing that she did, there would have been people dragging that sister down, up and down the aisle. First, they would have talked about the way she looked on TV. Then let her sister come on TV and have them many rings on her hand, regardless what the rings represent. I know they say the rings represent her children, but let her sister come with all that jewelry on her hand. First thing, look at her, all flashy. They would have drove that sister through the mud. Unfortunately, and I'm going to say it, and everybody can get mad at me who want to get mad at me. It is two types of America. It is white America and black America. It's still in 2025, getting ready to go into 2026. America is still as divided as it was back in the 20s, the 30s, and the 40s, if not more. Brother Broken Berlin, you got that look on your face like you want to say something, man. Talk to me.
I'm laughing at Sean trying not to sneeze. You look like you're struggling in there, sir.
I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. I'm chilling.
Okay.
I'm good. I'm good. I'm good.
Okay. No, what you said, I mean, first thing, the one thing, no one deserves to be murdered. Boy, that's a nice thing to think, but do I honestly believe that? No. There's a small subsection of people that, oh, I'm about to get canceled. You know what? No, I don't care. If you really look at when people do things wrong, uh, I think sometimes alchemy calls for murder. I think sometimes I'm not someone who's like, I'm not the biggest person like eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth kind of person. But I do think that there are instances and such justifications of we are organisms. We are animals. Sometimes you got to put animals down. And I think that we have a strange barometer of our morality. Like if you do things wrong, you can come back from it. We'll put a dog down in a second that loved the family for an entire lifetime. And maybe the family did something wrong to the dog and the dog had a reaction, but the family will still put that dog down because it's like, it's just a dog. And I think as people, we need to sometimes remember that about human beings. Don't put your morality or your godly or your religion onto somebody when the answer is honestly ending them and moving on. But that's just my alchemy speaking.
Oh, deep, brother. That was deep. At the end of the day, we all have our opinions. I think everybody has the right to their opinion. I think everybody who made the journey, because it is a journey. I was thinking about that a couple of nights ago. To think that John, Jason, and myself, along with everybody who is a living being on this planet, if you look at the odds of the journey for us to manifest as we manifest, those were some staggering odds. You have folks talk about lottery odds and things of that. Just think about it. There was no way that on June the 22nd, 1967, and guess what? We all started before our birth date because we all were just sitting along with a whole bunch of other folks, little squiggly things, waiting to fertilize an egg, and it was a combination of that fertilization and the squiggly things running into each other that bombarded and we developed. Those odds of that happened because it was a race against us and millions. It ain't just one little squiggly thing that jumps out. The whole bunch of them. And you all in a race.
Yeah.
And you all ain't gonna make it to the destination.
Only one does.
Right. So the sheer will that was exerted even then when we weren't in the conscious state that we are now. I mean, family, we got to wake up. Listen, I saw this stuff. I saw all the mass shootings, not only in the United States, but now, like I said, when things happen, we've had them in Germany. We've had people, and they are terrorist attacks. They are literally attacks where people have went to the march. They have like Kris Kringle march. They have wonderful marches in Germany that they do open air shopping. And, they have a person go to that march with a whole bunch of people there and start shooting or have a bomb vest and blow up. The world is sick. And it makes it where, listen, you don't want to leave your house. I haven't wanted to go shopping or be in the Christmas. And when I do go shopping in the Christmas food, I tell you, most of the time, I'll be very honest with you, not because I'm in law enforcement, but just because I am a law-abiding citizen. I am packing. I seriously have my weapon on me 24/7, 365. Talk to me, Sean.
So, Joe, looking at what happened in Australia and looking at what happened at Brown University for an example, right? I'm looking at the way in which the government in these places are handling this when it comes to their gun laws and their policies. In Australia, talking about they were already tight to a degree. They're trying to get even tighter than what it already was. Looking at what they're doing versus like what's happening here, what we're even trying to do, what that even is.
Well, you have to understand, once again, we live in two different Americas, and right now, we are so divided between Republicans and Democrats, between progressives and conservatism. Understand, the reason you ain't hearing all this chatter about Brown University like you hearing about Renner right now is because Brown University is a very progressive university, is a very progressive place of education and learning. Brown University is like Brown, Princeton, Harvard. Most of these Ivy League big time schools, they're not very centered on conservative values. Now, understand the two individuals that got killed at Brown. One of the young ladies was the president of the conservative movement on campus. And the other and they're talking a great deal about her and talking very little about the foreign national, the young man who was killed. See, you got to understand, right now in the United States of America, we got to just be real with one another and understand we're getting back to a place where if it's white, it's all right. If it's brown, it can stick around. But if it's black, it needs to stay back. That white value.
Did we ever get away from that place, sir?
Hold it. I don't think we did, but I think we were making some progress.
Okay.
Some progress that folks were literally saying it's going to be all right. Because watch this. The more we achieve, the more they begin to hate. You got to understand, Donald Trump is literally a manifestation of one Barack Obama coming into power. Had Barack Obama never came into power and the presidency had stayed lily white, I promise you, we may have never seen Donald Trump. Now, I might be wrong. It's two left shoes, but I have a strong.
No, you're right, because it would have been John McCain, and there's no way there would have been a transition from John McCain into a Donald Trump.
I believe that all of a sudden the manifestation of a black and brown person in a place of power, the most powerful position in the world, and successfully doing it, somebody sit around and said, we can't let this fly because they will begin to believe.
Then the man won twice, not just once. The man won twice.
Give me 20 seconds. And we also couldn't let the prestige, once Obama was the president, we couldn't allow the president office to be a prestigious office anymore. We had to bring once he had it, we couldn't let the next person be a educated, smart, well-thought person. It had to be a dummy. So the system of white supremacy was like, okay, we gave the black person the president. Now the next one, we're going to show the world that the presidency is really an idiot because we don't want to.
Right, hold it. We didn't have to have this highly intelligent individual in this office. This office can be ran.
By anybody.
Because here's why. A lot of folks don't know behind the veil, there's a lot of puppeteering, and politicking is puppeteering. Politicking is puppeteering. Understand, when you see, watch this. I just got to go there because I got to tell it like it is, because y'all running around here thinking that some of these people who are in office have your best interest at heart. And guess what? They do very much use what they have to get what they need, and especially for their people. But their number one priority in most cases is themselves. The person that they're politicking for the hardest is themselves. Because if you look at what they have compared to what their constituents have, you ask yourself, are they really for the people? Are they really with the people? And are they really of the people? Go ahead, John.
That's our conversation last week about the sister Jasmine Crockett in Texas. Well, he just said, right? So you want this sister to have all this credentials, all this backing. You got to prove yourself. This man don't. So look at that. The hypocrisy is so great. It's crazy, bro.
That part right there. That part right there. And a lot of people don't get it. They don't understand.
What about that? So where's this litmus test for all these other people?
Right.
If she gets judged by this litmus test, that's fine. Make sure it go across the board, though.
Right. That part right there.
And there's one thing I did want to bring up about you saying how Australia is is a very non-violent country. The funny thing is, if you've met Australians or been to Australia, they're extremely violent. There's a rule in Australia, like if you're having a bad day, you can drink your beer and put the glass on the side of the table, and if people see that, they know you want to have a fight, and another guy will drink his beer, and then you guys can go outside and have a fisticuff because both of you have maybe had a bad day at work and you don't want to give it to your wives. I was like, yo, so fighting is a norm in Australia, but gun culture isn't. Versus in America, fighting is not the norm. It's the gun culture. So I would say that white Australians are actually inherently more violent because they enjoy it, but white Americans are more willing to kill.
Well, see,
so who's really more violent?
Okay, so this country, the Bear Arms, the Second Amendment, one of the founding pillars of this country. you have to understand that. Okay, let's talk a little history here, since a lot of folks don't want to tell the real deal. First of all, you have to understand that during the Revolutionary War, another reason there is a disdain for black and brown folks in the country. During the Revolutionary War, when black and brown slaves were introduced to the Revolutionary War, all of them did not fight for the United States of America. To be exact, the United States of America said, if you fight for us, you're going to stay a slave. The British told them, look, you come fight for us, we're going to set you free. That's how Trinidad came about. That's how free, and the British kept their word. The blacks who fought for the British, even though the British were defeated, the blacks that fought for them and stayed with the British and went back to England, they got settled in Trinidad. A lot of Trinidadians, they are the descendants of those who fought for the British. And don't get me wrong, you might not have been treated the best in England, but you were free. So hold on, understand. See, we got to start bringing some real perspective to everything, because we've got to talk about the truth and the caucasity of most folks. And it is the caucasity of those folks who are not black and brown to always make it seem like we were the savages. Well, here's the thing. Most of you came from somewhere, got into our indigenous land and began to take over and tell us that the way we live it ain't the right way to live, until certain places y'all did it and all of a sudden you got stopped. See, they don't want to tell you the real story of Egypt. They don't want to tell you how the Romans had to make deals because they couldn't come in and fight like they wanted to fight, because right there they ran into, see, they don't tell you everything. They tell you just enough to make you feel like, guess what? You can't do it. All you can be is subservient, and all you can be is a person underneath a person who is white. See, they never want you to understand who you really are. They want to tell you, you can never learn and you can never be smart. How can you tell me about what I can't do when my people created mathematics? Understand, black and brown folks created. How can you tell me that I can't be a mathematician? I ain't good at certain types of learning when black and brown folks created learning. While you were trying to rub sticks together and start fires in the caves of the Caucasus Mountains, we were in Kemet using high mathematics and science to a level that folks still cannot explain. And there's writings on walls. And before you give us credit for building pyramids, you got the mitigated gall and audacity to say, oh, they must have came from outer space. Well, if they did come from outer space, that means the people out of space are black.
Well, they say it because they've been able to make us erase our own culture. I mean, think about black culture. Oh, black people don't swim. We were probably the original Vikings. You know, oh, black people, we don't camp. We are people of the woods. What are you talking about? But we forgot that because of the system of white supremacy has completely inverted what we think we are. So
Right.
if some racist is trying to tell you you can't do that, he's not in the wrong, because he's only going with the programming that the whole system of white supremacy has engulfed this entire planet with. The only problem is you're different. You're wrong for not going along with the matrix, and you know too much. How dare you, sir? Number 33. You're supposed to, you know things you're not supposed to know.
Well, let's be honest about this. Let's
talk about it.
Let's peep game with this Brown University shooting. Mind you, they just came out with, and while we were not paying attention, if you remember during the election, there was a guy going around putting pipe bombs at the DNC, at the RNC, at different places during the election cycle. You do understand they just arrested and convicted a black man for doing this. All of a sudden, this was a far left. All of a sudden, if you listened yesterday really made me get it when they said, we have a task force commissioned by the president to bring these far left extremists to justice. It's as if they're saying, listen, ain't nothing going on the right. Ain't nothing going on the far right. All these neo-Nazis, all these people who hate Jews and hate black folks and hate folks that are not lily white and Christian, they ain't doing nothing. But what's going on right now is these people on the far left are trying to wreak havoc and destroy the United States of America. Pay attention. Listen, I say it all the time, Sean. I say it all the time, Jason. It is the movie V for Vengeance is literally being manifested right in front of our eyes. They are fabricating situations. Before you know it, they're going to lock this whole place down. If you ain't paid attention, right now in the state of Louisiana, in the city I live in Lafayette, in Baton Rouge, in New Orleans, there have been ICE raids. There have been ICE detainments and arrests in the city. I live in the 5th largest. I live in a very small city, bro. Let me see. Name one of the nice suburbs of Berlin. Name a nice
Wildau, Neukölln.
Wildau. So when I
yeah.
lived in Dusseldorf, we had a place called Holzhausen. That's where I lived. It was very nice. Holzhausen, wood houses. It was very nice there. I live in a place about the size of one of the suburbs of Berlin. And it's a rural suburb. It's one of those suburbs like you're going out toward the country. It's a nice place, but it ain't no big. If you put Lafayette, Louisiana into a number system, Lafayette ain't even one of the 200 largest cities in the United States of America.
No, it really wouldn't be.
But nevertheless, we all have our issues. We all have our situations. And we all got to start addressing that right now. Guess what? They're trying to turn back the hands of time and really make it's us against them. It's black against white. It's Muslim against Christian. To be exact, right now, people are telling you, choose your side.
Yeah. Even separating black people in this whole FBA versus tether shit. Instead of us focus on the government or white people, no, focus on the other black people who kind of look like you, but are only 3 generations of they're against you, black man. It's like, and so many black Americans are falling for this dumb shit.
I
got called a tether, and I'm like, I'm from Oklahoma. I'm a tether? Well, yeah, because you've been away from America for 10 years now. You're a tether, and I'm like, is that how it works?
And hold up, and so I decided. Hold it. And I, like you, listen, if I could snap my fingers right now and come back to what we call the economy, that's what they call it, the economy. If I could snap my fingers right now, and go back to working in Europe, but being an American citizen, I'd do it. But the reason I can't, I'm not the young Joe no more. And guess what? What I'm doing right now, I'm in my place of purpose. Right. These gray hairs just ain't there for no reason. And listen, family, I'm saying that you got to pay attention. It is 36 minutes past the hour. I want to go into something, Jace. Go ahead, Sean.
No, I had a question. With the Brown University, did they catch the suspect, or is he still at large as of right now?
They caught a suspect. It was not the suspect. They went through the process of whatever they did. I pray to God they didn't waterboard the poor man, but they did.
The first person after these things is always the wrong one, right? They always get the first one wrong, don't they? I always feel bad. I want to see a movie like what happened. I want the person to come tell us how bad that shit was.
There was no camera footage, and there was no.
Do you remember the first person they tried to grab after 9/11, and it was all wrong?
Hold up, I'm gonna make you laugh. This isn't funny, but I am gonna make you laugh. Don't you know the person who did it, when they start talking about they got the person in custody? If I'm the guy who I know I did it, and all of a sudden I'm somewhere and I turn on the TV, or I'm listening, or however I'm doing it, because most of these folks are smart enough to get off the grid. But if I'm on the grid enough to know what's going on, and I hear they got somebody, I'm even the more happy. I'm even trying to get further away now, because I know every minute, every second, every hour that you allow me to make some movement away from the scene, this guy might be somewhere in the North Pole, or in some, God forbid, forest somewhere. It is what it is. I pray to God that they bring the people to justice. But come on, family, we've got to do better. We got to do better. So I want to say something. They're talking right now on the news about how the president of the United States is doubling down on his criticisms of the slain director, Rob Reiner, and his wife. This is not presidential. I said it. If you voted for Trump, that's you.
This is not humane.
This is not presidential. This is not this is not what human beings do. As much as the rhetoric that CK, Charlie Kirk, said, I never would wish death on that man in any shape, form, or fashion, nor do I condone him being murdered. I have empathy and sympathy for his wife and his children because that could have been me. But once again, where was the empathy, the sympathy, and the outcry for all the black and brown men who were lynched, who were shot, who were killed, who were castrated, who were put on public display just because they wouldn't walk on the other side of the street when a person who was not the color that they were was because they didn't want to be called boy and nigger. Because when you called them that, they said, "Hey man, don't call me that. Oh, now we got to kill you. Now we got to lynch you. Now we got to shoot you."
Yeah,
Because
you forgot your place.
right, because some of them organized farmers to say the money they're giving us for our crops ain't the same that they're giving the Caucasian. We need because they were organizing their people to be better and to do better. You know, where was the outcry? Where was the outcry from the Christians? Hold on, since all of a sudden, oh, I got to go there because I looked at the CBS special, the whole CBS special. See, I recorded it and rewatched it. She was talking about as Christians, okay. Well, what happened to the Christians, same Christians you talking about when it came to the persecution of black and brown folks? Where were those good Christians then?
It was their day off.
Where were they at?
Sorry.
Where were those good Christians then? Where were those good Bible toting? We are all blessed and endowed by the Creator. Where were those good Christians at then? What were those good white Christians? That's what I'm gonna call them. I'm gonna call them what they are. What was those good white Christians then? Where was those good white Christians in the United States of Americas in the 1900s, in the 1910s, in the 1920s, in the 1930s, the 40s?
It's the same religion, right?
Right. Hold up. Where were those
Black Christianity and white Christianity is the same religion, isn't it?
Hold it. Right. So wait a minute. Where was those good white Christians then? Since all of a sudden we all see, guess what? We have to be truthful about something. And as much as y'all put those fake pictures of white Jesus up in your church, that ain't Jesus. Jesus was crucified and persecuted, not only because of his philosophy, but because of his looks.
That sounds absolutely logical.
Y'all can get as mad at me as you want to. Come at me if you like. The historical facts are even in the Bible.
Right. You said earlier how the country is so divided, and it tripped me out. Like most cities I've lived in any given city, I don't care how small it is, there's the black church, and there's even the same literal religion. I don't mean different national, different sect. I'm talking about the same literal thing. If I go and ask a stranger, "Hey man, what is so and so church at?" They're gonna point me to the black church, not the big old Houston on Main Street with the the stained glass, not that one. The little small one around the corner. That's what they're gonna say.
The segregated Christianity.
Sean, Google it. Google it. The most segregated place in the United States of America is a church building on a Sunday morning. The most segregated place in the United States of America is a church. It's a church building, excuse me, on a Sunday morning. And I don't even want to go down the rabbit hole with churches, especially black and brown churches, because all they are in most cases, not all, once again, not all, but in most.
God damn, you gotta say that shit like Candyman. You gotta say that shit 5 times. Like,
I have to say it because
not
people
all,
really need
not
to
all, not all, not all.
Folks need to catch this. But a great deal of them are nothing but tax shelters and another means that folks who are black and brown done learn how to scheme other black and brown folks. See, we'll scheme each other, but we won't go. Hold on. Y'all just made me want to go somewhere.
Go there. It's your show.
I'm going there. I got to go there. Let me pull this up because people were looking at me and say, "Why did you?" I did it because I think folks need to hear this, and I know folks get mad at me, and they be like, "And Joe off the cuff," and y'all can say what you want to. I could care less. At the end of the day, ain't none of y'all paid for what I do. So let me do it. So I want to do something right quick. And folks, bear with me. Please bear with me. I wasn't going to do this, but I got to do it. I got to do it. So I want y'all to catch this. There we go. All right. I'm about to play something. I want y'all to listen. Listen carefully. Please listen.
Let's talk about slavery. I don't give a how much money you got. I don't give a where you been. We're still on the plantation, brother. The privilege that they give black people, that only black people can flex on other black people with, because that's all you can do, because you can't flex on the motherfucking master, because he gave it to you. You go out there and flex on your people, because if you flex on me, your ass is in trouble. And what you got, that's my fuck up money. I spend that in taxes.
That couple $100,000 holding you over, that ain't real money, that's bill money.
So go be a king to your own people. But don't come over here and act like you're a king to us. And if I catch you biting and snapping back at me, I'm going to take that shit from you, embarrass you, and make your people talk about you and turn on you again. That's what they do to us with that shit. You know you can't take it with you. You don't own the shit. That's the only fucked up thing about having something more than your own people. You can only flex on your own people.
Okay. Get it. Okay. Look, I'm about to do a few things, gonna piss a few folks off. Now, when folks say, no, but times have changed, Joe. Times have changed. It's not like it was. No. You know, well, it's better. It's better. It's much better now. It's much better. It's much better now. It's much better. It's much better. Much better. Well, let me add this to the equation. This is Dr. Martin Luther King. Back in Dr. Martin Luther King's day. Now, mind you, I was born in 67. Dr. King was assassinated in 68. So that lets me know this speech here was either given in the 60s, and it may have been before I was born. I don't have an actual time date, but listen to what Dr. King is saying and tell me how relevant is it to where we are at today.
I'm going to be honest enough to tell you that I'm worried about America. Yeah. I'm worried about our nation because it's sick with racism still. Just think about the fact that we live in a nation which was founded on the principle that all men are created equal. And yet men are still arguing over whether the color of a man's skin determines the content of his character. And I believe that the Lord told me to say to the United States of America that is sick with militarism and is sick with excessive materialism. Have you ever thought about it? There are between 38 and 50 million people in the United States of America who are poverty-stricken, make an income less than the poverty level. And yet, this is the richest nation in the history of the world. Our national gross product this year will go beyond $800 billion.
And that's back in the 60s.
Yet there are between 38 and 50 million people who are poverty. I'm going to be honest enough.
Here we go. There we go.
Hey, I need send me more. That sounded like Martin Luther King, like he had a few drinks. Like that. That sounded like Martin Luther King, like he had a little bit of NJ. Like he was,
man. One of the best.
That ain't Mr. Friendly Martin Luther King that they bombard us with.
Well, see, they don't want to tell you that Dr. King was a revolutionary, and Dr. King wasn't always about. He even said many a times, maybe I made a mistake by trying to tell y'all to integrate with these folks. Maybe I told y'all to get on a burning bus. At the end of the day, what I wanted y'all to hear was two things. Mike Epps, a comedian, a modern day comedian. Folks know Mike, folks know Day Day. 45, 47. Everybody know Day Day. Okay, but what he said was right. They only put you in a place of power where you can flex on your own people. Because guess what? People who have black power don't go flex on white folks. Folks with white power flex on black power folks all the time. Prime example, look at what they did on MSNBC and other places. All of a sudden, Trump gets in office, Joy Reid loses her job.
Mm-hmm.
Certain folks, man, they don't play because Trump doesn't only have now his own goon squad, he has the government as a goon squad. The FCC, the IRS, he has ways of getting you that can get you gone forever.
And he has organizations that operate outside of the government, which are almost terrorist groups that were under. Let's talk about it. If you piss him off, you better have some serious surround sounds of people protecting you,
right?
At all times.
Because as Cardi B would say, when I got beef with you, I got beef with you forever. See, you not paying attention. Once again, y'all don't understand the dogmatic law because half of y'all don't read. Sean says reading is fundamental. Y'all don't understand because half of y'all don't even know what dogma is. Y'all don't understand that word means if it goes down with a certain group of folks and we get away with it, that means we can keep doing it because we did it to one. So understand this, us doing drone strikes on drug dealers. How many drug dealers are in the United States of America? So you might be riding down I-10, I-20, I-40 with a whole bunch of drugs in your Impala, and all of a sudden you hear, and you get double tapped. Guess what? You don't get over.
Double tap.
The drugs don't, right. The drugs don't get confiscated. No, you get droned and killed because they decided not to use the system of justice that they created, but all of a sudden now they went to the science fiction of the Judge Dredd. I am judge, jury, and executioner, and I find you guilty, and the sentence is death.
We will be there 30 years from now. We will. Unless we do something about it now and call it out.
Pay attention. Pay attention.
Hell, remember that movie Strange Days with Angela Bassett? It was with
right,
in the whole
right.
Now, look, before the pandemic, we thought that shit was crazy scene in the early 2000s, and then the pandemic happened, and you watch the movie, you're like, holy crap! You know, during the whole George Floyd thing, like everything that they show us is all something that they plan to do. Now, it may not be reality yet, but when you see these things in media, they're like, it's on the way.
Right.
It's on the way.
Right. So I played those two clips to wake some folks up because some folks ain't seen them clips, and some folks have seen them clips. But I just wanted to give y'all a reminder that Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. back in the 60s, you can't tell me that didn't sound like something that somebody could say today and everybody be like, ooh, he sure told the truth. This ain't nothing. Hold on. Since y'all want to wave this book at everybody, this book says there's nothing new underneath the sun. It's nothing new underneath the sun. But y'all too busy trying to make this book y'all weaponize this book. Y'all weaponize this book and y'all make this book a financial institution to put money in your pockets. But y'all don't use the educational value of this book that we become better. A lot of you don't do that. That's why I have a lot of problem with organized religion. That's why I have a lot of problem with commercialized religion, because y'all too busy building buildings instead of building people.
Say that again.
Y'all too busy building buildings instead of building people. Y'all ain't making people better. Y'all can't make people better until you got the building fund right and you got the new building. Well, guess what? If the words you have carry so much weight, you can say them words in the open air and guess what? And change people's lives. I didn't see Jesus had a lot of sermons and his sermons wasn't inside the synagogue. Okay, but no, y'all don't want to read the book. Y'all don't want to read the book. Okay.
Christianity is supposed to be Christianity is supposed to be damn near like Tao. It's supposed to be a capitalist religion.
Hold on.
It's supposed to be a poor religion. It's supposed to be a give of the people. You ain't supposed to be having money and balling with Christianity.
Hold on. Show me in this book where that word even exists. Christianity. Watch it. Yeah. The spirituality of individuals. See, y'all too busy trying to put a title to a thing. Be the spirit that you are. Guess what? Y'all too busy being judgmental. Y'all too busy trying to turn church into a country club and trying to make it that it's exclusive. If you don't drive, if you don't wear, if you don't talk, if you don't speak, I don't want to man. I don't even want to go there. Sean, I know. 7 minutes.
Wait. Don't come to our church not dressed up. And I was like, wait, what? I thought the church was like, I'm supposed to come in here to learn something. Well, yeah, but you can't be disrespectful. You got to make sure you come in here with some. And I was like, man, you know what, y'all, I'm good. Y'all can keep it.
All right, it is 6 minutes to the top of the hour. I don't want to hold Sean too very long, but Sean, my man, let me do this following. Be exact. We're gonna close out these last 6 minutes with some good conversation. Of course, much love to my brothers. There they are, 3 the hard way. Brother Jason, brother Sean, yours truly. But Sean, I know you got the Sean P Experience Degree Out podcast. You didn't even put a book up today. You got a book on your mind? You got a book? Let's go.
I keep it on me, bro. I keep it on me, man. This book, Who Were the Moors Before the Moors, right? Who Were the Moors Before the Moors, by one of my favorite professors of all time, Dr. Kaba Kamene. He'll be a guest on the podcast this Sunday at 8 o'clock. A long-time favorite scholar. You've seen him in the Hidden Color documentaries. You've seen him in the Out of Darkness documentaries. You've seen him in Elementary Genocide and plenty other things. Out of the scholar pantheon, he's one of the remaining living scholars of that tree, man. I'm going to have him on the Sean P Experience this coming Sunday, bro. Very, very excited about that, man.
That part. Y'all support Sean P, the Sean P Experience, and the Griot podcast. Listen, I want to say this as we get ready to go into the last 5 minutes of the show. First of all, I'm not here to tell you what to think or how to think. I'm not telling you to jump on this train and buy everything that I'm selling or ingest everything that I serve you. I am telling you to do your own research and think. Don't let folks tell you who you are. Find out who you are. Prime example. I was laughing and I did get an email from a good friend of mine in Scotland. I am getting ready to meet some of my white Scottish family because 9% of me, 9%, I did my DNA, 9% of me is Scottish. I am, and I should have known it. I probably just like Sir William Wallace, rah! Yes, so they say the brutes. Yes. So, I find that not strange, but guess what? It lets me know this. We too busy concentrating on things that folks have made us concentrate on. I am still a human being, and there are some human beings that share my DNA that are not black and brown. That means regardless of how we are linked by DNA. I don't know what it's going to take, family. I don't know if it's going to take some creature or something to come down here and begin to start a war amongst humans for humans to band and be humans. And the sad thing is, I think we're so divided that even if we banded to be humans, soon as either we won or they won and they left, we go back to things the way they are. You black, I'm white. We got to stop that, family. We got to listen. Nobody asked to come to this. Once again, we talked about it earlier. The mathematical odds of you being here was astronomical. None of us asked to come here the way we were. But nevertheless, we're here. And if I didn't ask for a thing, how can you hold that thing against me? If the thing was literally put on me without my consent, I didn't ask to come black and brown. I didn't ask to be the son of the parents I am. I am proud of everything that I have done. And guess what? I've made a lot of mistakes, and I'm proud of those too, because those mistakes were made of self-conscious. I can't sit here and say, well, somebody, no, I should have known better. But just like, see, folks need to start being real with one another. Let me end with this 2 minutes before we go. And I'm going to go to you, brother Broken Berlin. And I know, Shine, you got to go. Y'all talking about Judge Royal Colbert and him being suspended. How many of y'all have decided to pull your monies together and help this brother pay his bills? If he needs help paying his bills, he may not. But how many of y'all have even called and offered? I text the man for him to call me back because I was going to say, brother, I ain't got a lot, but do you need some of what I got? And can I use my platform to get people to give money that you might have 6 months of hardship? Because 6 months without pay is a long time. That's what y'all don't want to talk about. Y'all want to talk about he got suspended and how other judges should get suspended. No, he got suspended from the bench and without pay. Most of y'all running y'all mouth ain't said nothing about giving the man some money. Because guess what? We can bump our gums all day long, but when it comes down to showing our pocketbooks, when it comes time to cutting the check, see, that's the problem with black and brown folks. We don't know how to CTC, cut the check. We sure know how to bump our gums, but we don't know how to cut the check. Well, I'm standing to the plate and saying, hey, bro, I ain't got a lot, but what little I got, and it's Christmas time. Oh, some of y'all, oh, I can't cut the check. No, guess what? I know how it feels to get let go, and it's the new year and Christmas, because that's how I got let go of being the chief of minority affairs. I got a call, not a person walking in my office, not a person thanking me for my service. I got a call 3 days before the new year saying your service will no longer be needed, and you will get your final check on this day. I know that feeling. And guess how many people got on their podcast or their platform or called me and said, hey, bro, need some help with them bills? I know you're struggling. Not a one. I ain't going to do my brother like I was done. Brother Royal, Judge Royal Colbert, if you need anything, I ain't got a lot, but I'm willing to get with folks and let's put our money together and keep you above float until, because I don't care how much money you will make and how much you save. 6 months, half a year's pay could hurt anybody. That part. Brother Broken Berlin, it's 7 o'clock. I know, Shine, you got to go. I'm going to start with you, and then I'll go to Shine to get some final words. First, you, Broken Berlin, give me some.
Okay. We got it. I got sorry. It's my final words. Again, there's a lot of jobs in this planet and a lot of jobs, especially in America, that are kind of forgotten about, and people don't really show recognition and show love to the people who are in these kinds of fields. And I just wanted to say, Sean, with you being a detective and, with the trench coat and the Sherlock Holmes outfit that you're going, I just want people to understand that your job is very difficult and very dangerous. And we appreciate the work that you do for the community in solving these unsolvable mysteries. Okay. So again, thank you for you being you, Detective Sean, and keep rocking that trench coat.
Yeah, man. As I said earlier, man, on the Sean P. Experience podcast on YouTube, for those that don't know, it's a literary podcast where I interview authors, avid book readers, editors, filmmakers, you name it. I've had athletes on the show. I love to talk to interesting people about the background of what they do. So hopefully we'll learn something using our own individual lives. And this coming up episode will be a good one, man. My brother, Professor Kaba Kamene, he has studied up under some of the greatest scholars, African scholars of all times. And he is one as well, man. So have a full hour conversation with him on Sunday. His brand new book, Who Were the Moors Before the Moors? You want to check it out about the African presidents all around the globe first. That part.
There we go. Family, look, 1 minute after, thanks Sean P. Thank my brother Broken Berlin. I hope to see him even more this week. We really didn't get a chance to get into some of the thematics of the hate against Jewish people, against black and brown folks, against people who are not like other folks. Right now, family, y'all got to pay attention. Y'all got to pay attention to words that are being said. You got to pay attention to how certain government entities are going after certain groups of people. You got to pay attention. And you got to be better today or yesterday. You got to be that. You got to evaluate, what was it I did yesterday that I could do better today? And today, I pray that you bless somebody with something that there's no earthly way they could. As I get ready to make my way up out of here, I end it the same way all the time, because I believe this with all my heart, that there is no secret what God can do, what he has done for others, willing he can do for you. God is with you. Nothing or no one. Y'all be blessed. Have a good one. We'll be back tomorrow if the Lord say the same. Work it out Wednesday. Make this your best day, because you ain't got a guarantee that tomorrow's coming and yesterday's gone. Handle right here, right now. We up out of here.